Forget your name. Forget your comforts, your beliefs in gentle strength and reasoned debate. They are ghosts here, whispers from a future that has not yet been dreamed. Here, in the heart of Laconia, in the shadow of Mount Taygetus, you are nothing but flesh and bone, a piece of clay to be violently reshaped. You are 7 years old, and your life, as you know it, is over. Your second life, a life of iron and blood, has just begun. The consciousness that is reading these words, your modern, analytical mind, is a stowaway, a phantom trapped behind the eyes of a boy whose only purpose is to become a shield for Sparta. And you are about to learn what that truly means. The first thing you feel is not cold, but fire. A white-hot line of agony erupts across your shoulder blades, so sudden and so sharp that it steals the air from your lungs. There is no warning, no preamble. One moment, you are standing in a shivering line of naked boys on a cold stone floor. The next, you are redefined by pain. A sound accompanies it, a sharp crack that slices through the pre-dawn gloom, followed by the wet, heavy thwack as the leather whip finds your skin. Your body, the boy's body you inhabit, lurches forward, a strangled gasp escaping your lips. But you do not scream. The boy knows better. His muscles, his very instincts, are already conditioned. He braces, planting his bare feet firmly on the grimy stone, his small fists clenched at his sides. But you, the ghost in his machine, you want to scream. You want to howl. This is barbaric, insane. Your 21st century mind, a mind that understands rights and wrongs, child protective services, and the concept of trauma, is recoiling in pure horror. What is happening? Why the questions are a silent shriek in your shared skull. Another crack. This time it lands lower, across your kidneys. The pain is deeper, a nauseating thud that radiates through your entire torso. The boy stumbles but catches himself. His jaw is set so tightly you can feel the muscles grinding near his ears. His gaze is fixed on the gray, featureless wall in front of him. Don't show weakness. Don't make a sound. Don't give them the satisfaction. This is the first lesson. You can smell the room now. It smells of boyish sweat, of stale urine from a corner bucket, of damp stone, and of something else. Fear. It's a metallic, coppery scent that clings to the back of your throat. You are one of 30 boys, all naked, all bearing the fresh, red welts of the morning's greeting. A figure moves in the gloom ahead. He is not large, but he radiates an aura of absolute authority. An Iron, a young adult instructor no older than 20. His own back, a roadmap of faded scars. He walks the line, his eyes missing nothing. He is not looking for strength, not yet. He is looking for the first crack in the facade, the first flicker of terror, the first boy to break. Your modern mind frantically searches for context, for an escape. This is the Agoge. You've read about it in books, seen it in movies. But the words on a page are a pathetic substitute for the reality of this fire on your skin. The movies were clean, heroic. This is filthy, degrading, and utterly terrifying. This is not a test of strength. It's a systematic dismantling of the individual. It's the deliberate breaking of a child's spirit to rebuild it into something else. The boy next to you, a skinny child with ribs like a washboard, lets out a tiny whimper as the whip finds his flesh. The iron stops. The entire room holds its breath. The silence that follows is more terrifying than the sounds of the lashing. The instructor leans in close to the whimpering boy, his voice a low hiss. The words are laconic, clipped. The fox that cries is the fox that is caught. He doesn't raise his voice. He doesn't need to. The threat hangs in the air, thick and suffocating. You force your gaze forward. You focus on the boy's body. You feel the sting of the welts beginning to throb in a rhythmic, sickening beat. You feel the cold of the floor seeping into the soles of your feet. You feel the tremor in your legs, a product of cold, fear, and exhaustion. The ghost in you wants to curl into a ball. The boy you inhabit forces himself to stand taller. He is learning, and you, against every instinct of your modern soul, are being forced to learn with him. This is your new reality. There is no escape. There is only endurance. The sun has not yet risen, and you have already lived a lifetime of pain. Pain is a teacher, but hunger is a master. It is a constant, gnawing presence that hollows you out from the inside. The food you are given is gruel, a thin, tasteless barley porridge that is intentionally insufficient. It does what it must to keep you alive, but never, ever does it satisfy. Hunger sharpens the senses, the instructors say. It breeds cunning. It separates the strong from the weak. For you, it is a form of torture that eclipses even the whip. Weeks blur into a miserable cycle of brutal training and aching emptiness. Your body, this child's body, is changing. The soft roundness of boyhood is melting away, replaced by sinew and bone. You are always tired, always sore, but it's the hunger that dominates your every waking thought. The ghost within you screams for a simple sandwich, a piece of fruit, a candy bar, the readily available calories of your former world. The boy, however, thinks only of one thing: opportunity. The opportunity comes during the festival of Artemis Orthia. The altar is laden with offerings, flat wheels of hard cheese. It is a ritual. The older boys guard the altar. The younger boys, like you, are expected to try and steal them. Success means a full belly. Failure means a beating. Far worse than the morning lashes. It is a game, but a deadly serious one. You are huddled in the shadows of a colonnade with two other boys. One is Lycos, broad-shouldered and rash. The other is Alcaeus, small, wiry, and quick. Your modern mind calculates the odds, the risks. It's a foolish endeavor. The guards are vigilant. The punishment is certain. Don't do it. You plead silently. It's not worth it. But the boy doesn't listen. His stomach is a physical, aching void. Alcaeus points. The guard on the left. He watches the main path. Lycos, you make a sound. By the western wall. A diversion. Lycos grins. A feral flash of teeth in the twilight. I'll give them a sound. Your role is to be the shadow. While Lycos draws their attention, Alcaeus will dart in from the side. He is fast, but he cannot carry more than one cheese. You are to follow in his wake, a second wave, and grab another. It is a pact born of shared desperation. Lycos disappears into the gloom. A moment later, a loud clatter echoes from the west, followed by a shouted curse. Two of the older boys guarding the altar jerk their heads in that direction, their silhouettes tensing. It's the opening. "On now!" Alcaeus hisses, and he is gone. A blur of motion flitting between shadows. Your heart is a frantic drum against your ribs. This is it. The boy's instincts take over. You are no longer a 21st century observer. You are a predator. You push off the wall. your bare feet making no sound on the packed earth. You keep low, your eyes locked on the altar. You see Alcaeus snatch a cheese and melt back into the darkness. Now it's your turn. The guards are distracted, moving toward the sound Lycos made. The altar is exposed for a heartbeat. You lunge. Your fingers close around the waxy rind of a cheese. It feels heavy, substantial, a promise of life itself. The smell sharp, salty. Divine fills your senses. Triumph surges through you. You have it. But your foot snags on a loose stone. You stumble, a single, clumsy sound. One of the guards whirls around. His eyes lock onto yours. There is no anger in his expression, only a cold, predatory recognition. You are caught. Panic, pure and absolute, floods you. The ghost in you screams. Run, the boy's training screams. Never drop the food. Clutching the cheese to your chest like a shield, you pivot and run. Not back the way you came, but towards the darkest part of the temple grounds. You can hear the heavy footfalls of the guard behind you. He is bigger, faster. You are a mouse fleeing a hawk. You risk a glance back and see him closing the distance. A thick stick in his hand. You dive behind a row of statues, your lungs burning, your legs screaming. You press yourself into the cold marble, making yourself small. You can hear him searching, his breathing heavy. The cheese is pressed so hard against your ribs you think they might crack. This small, stolen wheel of cheese has become your entire world. It is victory and failure, life and a beating, all wrapped in one. You lie there, listening. Your fate hanging on a single sound in the Spartan night. You escaped. The guard passed by your hiding spot, and in the deep darkness, you, Lycos and Alcaeus devoured the cheese like starving wolves. It was a victory, a small, defiant act of survival that tasted sweeter than any feast you can remember from your other life. But such victories are fleeting in the Agoge. The system is designed to grind them into dust. A week later, you are paying the price. Not for the cheese they never proved it was you, but for a different, collective failure. During weapons drill, one boy in your barracks cried out when a wooden practice sword caught him squarely on the knuckles, breaking 2 fingers. Crying out was the crime. The punishment is for all. You stand in a circle in the middle of a dusty training yard. The sun is relentless, baking the earth and your bare skin. In the center of the circle is the boy who cried, his hand now a swollen purple mess. Facing him is the Iron, the same instructor from that first morning. He holds 2 wooden rods, each as thick as your thumb. One of us is weak, the Iron says, his voice flat and carrying in the hot air. That means all of us are weak. The Phalanx is a wall, a single loose stone, and the wall crumbles. You will teach him his lesson, and you will learn it with him. He throws one of the rods at the feet of a boy in the circle. You begin. Your modern mind reels in disgust. They are going to make children beat another child. This is beyond cruel. It is monstrous. It's a calculated act of psychological warfare, designed to sever the bonds of empathy and replace them with a brutal pack mentality. The first boy hesitantly picks up the rod. He looks at the crying boy, then at the Iron. He doesn't want to do this. You can see it in his eyes. But the Iron's gaze is unyielding. With a pained expression, the boy delivers a half-hearted whack to the offender's legs. Harder, the Iron commands, his voice like stone. Or you will take his place. The boy strikes again. Harder this time. The crying boy flinches but clenches his jaw, accepting the punishment. The rod is then passed to the next boy in the circle, and the next. Each blow is a sickening thud, a punctuation mark in a lesson of shared brutality. The ghost inside you is screaming, "Refuse. Somebody. Just refuse." This is wrong, but the boy you are remains silent, his face a mask of stoicism. He watches the rod come closer and closer. He feels the sun beating on his neck. He tastes the dust in his mouth. Then, the rod is in your hands. It feels heavy, alien. You look at the boy in the center. His legs are covered in red welts. His face is pale, but his eyes meet yours. There is no plea for mercy in them. There is only a shared understanding this is the way. This is what must be done. Your modern self is at war with your Spartan self. Don't do it. It's a choice. But is it to refuse is to bring a worse punishment on yourself and, perhaps, on everyone else. To refuse is to mark yourself as an outsider, an individual, and in Sparta, the individual is a cancer. Survival here means conformity. Your arm moves, almost of its own accord. The boy's muscle memory, the ingrained discipline, takes over. You swing the rod. It connects with his thigh with a dull thwack. You feel the vibration travel up your arm. You did it. You struck another child. And a small, cold part of the boy's mind, the part that is purely Spartan, approves. You did not hesitate. You were not weak. You pass the rod to Lycos next to you. He takes it without a glance and delivers a blow with vicious efficiency. The ritual continues until every boy has participated. When it is over, the boy in the center can barely stand. The iron walks up to him. "Have you learned?" "Yes, iron," the boy whispers, his voice hoarse. "Have you all learned?" the iron asks, his gaze sweeping the circle, landing on you for a fraction of a second too long. "Yes, iron." You all chant in unison. A single, hoarse voice. You look down at your hands. They are the hands of a boy, but they just participated in something monstrous. The ghost within you feels a piece of its own humanity chip away and fall into the dust. The boy, however, feels a grim sense of belonging. You are no longer just a collection of boys. You are a pack. And you are learning to be wolves. Years pass, not in a gentle, flowing stream, but in a brutal, percussive rhythm of training, deprivation, and survival. The boy you inhabit is no longer a boy. He is 15, tall and lean, his body a landscape of scars and hardened muscle. The ghost of your modern consciousness is still there, but it is quieter now, a muffled voice in the back of your skull, often drowned out by the primal scream of instinct. You have learned the dance of sticks, the weight of the practice shield, the thrust of the wooden spear. You have learned to kill your emotions, to bury your fear, to think only of the group. Now comes the final test of the Agoge. You are taken, along with the others of your year group, to the foothills of Mount Tegetus. You are stripped of everything but a single, blood-red cloth, the phoenixes. You are given a knife, not a sword, not a spear, a simple iron knife. The head instructor, an old veteran whose face is a mask of jagged scars, addresses you one last time. His voice is like gravel. For years, Sparta has fed you. It has clothed you. It has made you strong. Now, you will feed yourselves. You will clothe yourselves. You will prove your strength. The mountain will test you. The beasts will test you. The helots will test you. Return a man, or do not return at all. Some of you will die. That is acceptable. Sparta has no use for the weak. There is no ceremony, no farewell. You are simply pointed towards the mountain and sent away, one by one, into the sprawling wilderness. The sun begins to set, casting long, menacing shadows from the gnarled olive trees and jagged rocks. You are utterly alone. The sudden silence is deafening after the constant noise of the barracks. The air grows cold with astonishing speed. Your modern mind, which has been suppressed for so long, surges back with a vengeance. It screams at the sheer insanity of this. Leaving teenagers to die in the mountains. This isn't training. It's a death sentence. But the boy, the young man you have become, is already working. His eyes scan the terrain. He needs shelter. He needs water. He needs to be aware of everything. His senses are honed to a razor's edge. He can smell the damp earth that indicates a nearby stream. He can hear the skittering of unseen things in the undergrowth. You find a small rock overhang, barely a cave, but it offers some protection from the wind. You curl up, your knife clutched in your hand, your red cloth pulled tight around you. The hunger is a familiar ache, but the fear is different now. It is not the fear of the whip or the training rod. It is a primal, ancient fear, the fear of the dark, of the unknown, of the predator's tooth and claw. Sleep is impossible. Every rustle of leaves, every distant snap of a twig sends a jolt of adrenaline through you. The ghost in your head imagines bears, boars, a pack of wolves. The Spartan in you knows the most dangerous predators here walk on two legs, other boys, equally desperate, who might see your knife or your shelter as a prize worth killing for. Or worse, the Krypteia, the secret police, who were rumored to hunt helots and sometimes Agoge boys in these very hills to hone their skills. Hours pass. The moon rises, a sliver of bone white in the ink-black sky. You must have dozed off, lulled into a false sense of security. A low growl awakens you. It is close, too close. Your eyes snap open. Your heart hammers against your ribs. A frantic bird trapped in a cage of bone. You slowly, carefully push yourself up, your back scraping against the rough stone of your shelter. You peer out into the moon-dappled clearing. There, not 20 paces away, is a wolf. It is huge, far larger than you imagined. Its coat a mangy gray, its shoulders are hunched, and its yellow eyes are fixed directly on you. A string of saliva hangs from its black lips, which are peeled back to reveal a fearsome set of teeth. It is not just passing by. It has been watching you. It has scented your fear. Your entire being turns to ice. Your modern mind is screaming, a torrent of pure, unadulterated panic. Wolf, a wolf, I'm going to die. But the Spartan you have become does not flee. To run is to trigger the chase. To run is to die. His hand tightens around the hilt of his iron knife. His breath comes in slow, measured pants. His body is coiled like a spring, every muscle tensed. The wolf takes a slow, deliberate step forward, its growl deepening into a rumbling threat that vibrates through the ground. This is the test, not of strength, not of cunning, but of will. The beast of the mountain versus the beast that Sparta has created. The ghost in your head wants to close its eyes and wait for the end. The Spartan stares back into those yellow eyes. There is no choice. There is no escape. The cliffhanger of your youth is here, embodied in tooth and claw. You must kill, or you must die. The boy is gone. A man must be born in this red soil, under this black night. You did not die on the mountain. You carry the scar on your forearm where the wolf's teeth grazed you before you drove your knife into its throat. You carry the memory of its hot, foul breath on your face. You returned, not as a boy, but as something else. You are 20 years old, a full citizen of Sparta, a hoplite, an equal, a homoios. Today is the day it all comes to fruition. Today you march to war. The air in the barracks is thick with a new kind of tension. It's not the petty rivalries of the Agoge, but a heavy, collective solemnity. Word has come from the north. The Persian host has crossed the Hellespont. They are a locust swarm, a tide of men and steel that threatens to swallow all of Greece. And you are the wall that will stop them. Your armor, your panoply, lies before you on a wooden chest. For years you have trained with weighted wood and leather. This is the first time you will don the real thing for its true purpose. It is a holy, terrifying moment. You start with the greaves, heavy sheets of bronze, curved to fit your shins. You tie the leather straps at the back, the metal cold against your skin. They feel cumbersome, restrictive. You stand and take a few steps. You feel rooted to the earth. Next is the cuirass, a masterpiece of bronze work, sculpted to the shape of a male torso, a muscular ideal you are expected to embody. It is not just two plates, front and back, but a single piece you must be lowered into. Lycos and Alcaeus, your comrades from the cheese theft, your brothers from the mountain, help you. They lower the massive weight over your head. It settles onto your shoulders with a solid, jarring thud. The sheer weight is breathtaking. It presses down on you, a constant, physical reminder of your duty. You can feel the metal already warming with your body heat. Then, the helmet. The iconic Corinthian Kranos. You lift it. It is heavier than you imagined. You slide it over your head. The world vanishes. Your vision is reduced to two small, almond-shaped eye slits and a narrow T-shaped opening for your nose and mouth. The sound of the room becomes muffled, distant. Your own breathing is a loud, rasping roar in your ears, a wave of claustrophobia, a memory from your ghost self, washes over you. You fight it down. This helmet is not a prison. It is your fortress. Finally, the shield, the aspis. It is not merely a shield. It is the soul of the Phalanx, a massive 3-foot-wide dish of wood and bronze, weighing over 20 pounds. You slide your left arm through the central brace, the porpax, and grip the leather handle at the rim, the anti-labe. The weight is immense, an agonizing strain on your arm and shoulder before the battle has even begun. You understand now why the ultimate disgrace is to drop your shield. It is not just a tool. It protects the man to your left. To drop it is to kill him. It is to break the wall. Return with your shield, or on it, your mother had said, her face impassive. Now you feel the literal weight of those words. You pick up your spear, the 8-foot dory. It feels light, almost an afterthought compared to the suffocating embrace of the bronze. You stand there, a fully armed hoplite. You are no longer yourself. You are a component, a living statue of war. You look around and see hundreds of others, identical copies of yourself. a forest of bronze and iron. The individual is gone, replaced by a terrifying, unified purpose. The weight on your shoulders is not just bronze. It is the weight of Sparta, the weight of the world. The march is a living thing. It is the sound of 8,000 pairs of sandals tramping on dry earth in perfect unison. Thump, thump, thump. It is the rhythmic jangle of spear butts on bronze shields. It is the creak of leather and the groan of metal. It is a sound that has struck terror into the hearts of enemies for generations. For days you march north. The sun beats down on your helmet, turning it into a personal oven. Sweat streams down your face, stinging your eyes. The aspis on your arm is a source of ever-present, grinding pain. Your modern mind screams in protest. It craves water, rest, a moment's peace. The Spartan body ignores it. It marches. It endures. This pain is the price of existence. You march beside Lycos. He is a grim, silent figure in his own bronze shell. To your left is Alcaeus, his smaller frame almost consumed by his armor. There is no conversation beyond clipped, necessary commands. The brotherhood is not in words. It is in the shared rhythm of the march, the shared misery, the absolute trust that the man next to you will not falter. Then, one afternoon, the marching stops. The command ripples down the line. Not a shout, but a passed signal. Ahead, on a wide, dusty plain. You see it. The enemy. It's not an army. It's a sea. A sprawling, chaotic mass of men that seems to stretch to the horizon. Thousands upon thousands of them. The Persian host. Their armor is a colorful, varied tapestry compared to your uniform bronze. You can hear the cacophony of their camp a dozen languages, the neighing of horses, the bleating of sacrificial animals. They are numberless. A cold knot of fear tightens in your gut. Your modern mind, capable of abstract calculation, understands the odds. You are hopelessly outnumbered. This is suicide. The ghost in you wants to turn and run, to shed this heavy bronze and disappear. But the Phalanx stands firm. The command is given to form the line. 8 men deep, 1,000 men wide, a solid wall of bronze and courage. You find your place. The man in front of you so close you can smell his sweat. The man behind you pressing into your back. Your shield overlaps with Alcaeus's to your left, and Lycos's shield overlaps with yours to the right. You are locked together. You are one. The Persian commanders, mounted on magnificent horses, ride out to observe you. You can see their disdain, their amusement at this tiny bronze line daring to stand against their might. The moments stretch into an eternity. The sun beats down. The dust kicked up by your formation hangs in the air. The silence on your side of the field is absolute, a held breath. It is a weapon in itself, a stark contrast to the enemy's noise. Then, it begins, not with a shout, but with a low hum. It starts in the front ranks, a deep, resonant vibration. It is the paean, the war hymn. The sound grows, picked up by rank after rank, a swelling, terrifying chorus that is part song, part prayer, part threat. It is a sound that bypasses the ears and settles deep in your bones. It speaks of gods and heroes, of blood and death and duty. It synchronizes your heartbeats, your breathing. It scours the fear from your mind and replaces it with a cold, clear purpose. The enemy's chatter falters. They can hear it now, this monstrous, unified song from the silent bronze wall. You see doubt in their ranks. The song reaches its crescendo. The final note hangs in the air, and in the ringing silence that follows, a single command is given. Forward. The wall begins to move. First a walk, then a trot, then a run. 8,000 men charging as one. The ground trembles. The song is over. Now comes the slaughter. The world narrows to the space between your helmet's eye slits. All you see is the back of the man in front of you, the churning dust, and the enemy. The sea of Persians resolves into individual faces now. Faces contorted in fear, in anger, in bloodlust. They are screaming. A chaotic wall of sound that breaks against your disciplined advance. Your run is not a sprint. It's a controlled, thundering charge. The pace dictated by the need to keep the wall intact. The weight of your panoply is forgotten, burned away by the fire of adrenaline. Your heart is a wild thing in your chest, but your body is an automaton, a product of 1,000 drills. Lift, thrust, step, lift, thrust, step. The ghost of your modern self is gibbering, lost in a storm of pure, primal terror. This is the moment of truth, the point of impact. There's no more thinking, no more strategy, only the collision. It comes with a sound that you will never forget. It is not the clean clash of swords you see in films. It is a wet, brutal, grinding crunch. It is the sound of your bronze shield, your extension of self, slamming into the wicker and leather shield of the man in front of you. It is the sound of wood splintering, of bone breaking, of a human body yielding to 800 pounds of charging force. The shock of impact jolts up your arm, through your shoulder, and into your very soul. The man you hit simply disintegrates. His shield shatters. His face registers a brief, comical look of surprise, and then he is gone, trampled under the relentless advance of the Phalanx. There is no time to register it. Another man takes his place, jabbing a short sword at your face. You deflect it with your shield, the blade scraping uselessly against the bronze. Your own spear, held underarm, thrusts forward in a piston-like motion. You don't aim. You just push it into the mass of flesh in front of you. You feel a hideous, soft resistance. Then a giving way. You pull back. The tip of your dory is red. The man you stabbed stumbles back with a choked cry, clutching his stomach. He is swallowed by the press of bodies. This is Othismos the push. The battle is not a series of duels. It is a shoving match from hell. Your job is to push, to create pressure, to move the wall forward. The men in the ranks behind you are literally pushing you into the enemy. You are the grinding edge of a machine. You kill again and again. It becomes a rhythm, block with the shield, a short, brutal jab with the spear. It's ugly, clumsy, intimate work. You are so close you can smell their sweat, their fear, their blood. You see their eyes widen as your spear point finds them. Your modern mind, the ghost, is horrified. It recognizes these faces as human. It sees the lives ending in a gurgle of blood. The Spartan you have become feels nothing but grim purpose. These are not men. They are obstacles. They are the stones that would break the wall. You are a tool, and this is your function. A spearhead scrapes across your helmet with a deafening shriek of metal on metal, making your ears ring and your vision swim. You stagger, but the man behind you pushes you upright. You recover, thrusting your spear into the throat of the man who struck you. His eyes go wide and he falls away. You are no longer a person. You are the Phalanx. You are a single cell in a great bronze beast of war, and the beast is hungry. The taste of iron and dust is in your mouth. The world is reduced to a red and bronze blur of violence, and you push forward, one bloody step at a time. The battle descends into a monstrous grind. It's not about elegant swordplay, it's about leverage and endurance. The front rank is a meat grinder. Men fall on both sides and are immediately replaced. The sheer press of bodies is suffocating. The ground underfoot becomes slick with blood and viscera, making footing treacherous. You are locked in this brutal rhythm. Your left arm, the shield arm, is screaming in agony. The muscles are on fire, a deep, tearing pain from shoulder to fingertip. The desire to just drop the aspis, to relieve the pressure for a single second, is an overwhelming temptation. But you can't. You look to your left. You see Alcaeus, his face a pale mask behind his helmet, his knuckles white where he grips his spear. His shield is covering your right side. You are his life. He is yours. To your right, Lycos is a beast. He fights with a savage fury, his spear a blur, his shield a battering ram. He roars with every thrust, a wordless sound of pure aggression. He is the perfect Spartan warrior, a creature born for this single, violent purpose. The Persian wave breaks against you again and again. They have the numbers, but you have the discipline and the wall. They come on in a disorganized flood. You meet them with a single, immovable object. For a moment, you feel invincible. The ghost in your head is silent, beaten into submission by the sheer, overwhelming reality of combat. Then it happens. A huge Persian, a nobleman by his ornate armor, wielding a massive two-handed axe, smashes through the front rank. He swings his axe in a brutal arc. It doesn't just hit a shield, it cleaves through it, through the arm behind it, and into the chest of the Spartan holding it. The man screams, a high, piercing sound that is cut short as he collapses. A gap, a hole in the wall. It is only for a second, but it is enough. The Persians, sensing an opportunity, surge toward it. The line wavers. For the first time, you feel a collective jolt of fear run through the Phalanx. The giant with the axe is now facing Alcaeus. Alcaeus is too small, his spear too slow to counter the massive weapon. You see the axe rise. You see the terror in Alcaeus's eyes through his helmet's slits. Your modern mind, the ghost that feels friendship and loyalty, screams, Alcaeus. Without thinking, you break your own rhythm. You pivot, ignoring the man in front of you, and lunge to your left, putting your own shield, your own body, between Alcaeus and the axe. The Spartan training screams at you. Hold your position, but the bond forged in hunger and fear is stronger. The axe comes down. It hits your aspis with the force of a battering ram. The bronze groans and buckles. The shockwave travels up your arm and slams you backward. The shield holds, but you are thrown off balance, stumbling into Alcaeus. The line is now dangerously compromised. Persians are pouring into the small breach. Lycos roars and drives his spear into one of them, but there are too many. You are struggling to get your footing, your shield arm numb and useless. You see a Persian soldier aiming his spear not at you, but at the exposed side of Lycos. Lycos is engaged with another enemy. He doesn't see it. Los, you scream, your voice hoarse and strange inside your helmet. He turns his head, but it's too late. The spear slides between the plates of his cuirass, just under his arm. It's a fatal blow. Lycos's roar cuts off. His eyes widen in surprise. He looks down at the spear shaft protruding from his side. Then he looks at you. There is no fear in his eyes, no pain, only a kind of final, grim understanding. He slumps forward, his heavy bronze body falling onto the very enemies he was fighting. He died on his feet, facing the foe. He died a Spartan. The sight of his fall empties you. The adrenaline, the rage, the fear, it all vanishes, replaced by a vast, cold emptiness. Lycos is gone. The breaking wave has taken him, and the battle is not over. The wall is broken. The death of Lycos should have shattered you. The modern ghost in your skull is weeping, horrified at the loss of a friend, a brother. But the Spartan you are has no time for grief. Grief is a weakness. Grief gets you killed. His fall creates a vacuum, and in that vacuum, you act. The cold emptiness is not despair, it's clarity. You see the battlefield as a series of geometric problems. There is a gap. The gap must be filled. You shove Alcaeus back into position. Screaming a single word, hold, you step forward into the space where Lycos fell. You are now the anchor on the right. The pain in your shield arm is a distant, unimportant signal. Your body is a machine, and it has a function to perform. You ram your shield into the face of a Persian trying to clamber over Lycos's body. You feel the cartilage of his nose crunch. Your spear finds his gut. He falls. Another takes his place. You kill him, too. The movements are economical, brutal, efficient. You are no longer fighting with rage, but with a chilling, detached precision. The world becomes a tunnel. Bronze, flesh, red. The screams of the dying are just background noise. The sun is blotted out by a haze of dust and something else. A fine, pink mist hangs in the air, a spray of atomized blood from 1,000 wounds. It settles on your armor, on your skin, like a grotesque dew. It's a red rain, and it tastes of iron. You are wounded. You don't remember how. A searing pain flares in your left thigh. You look down and see the tip of a broken arrow shaft protruding from the muscle just above your greave. The sight barely registers. The leg holds your weight. That is all that matters. You break off the shaft and keep fighting. Time loses all meaning. Is it minutes, hours? You are locked in an eternal present of push and kill. You see other Spartans fall. You see scores of Persians die. The pile of bodies in front of the Phalanx grows into a gruesome rampart. You are fighting from behind a wall of the dead, slowly, almost imperceptibly. The tide begins to turn. The Persian charges become less ferocious. Their numbers are still immense, but their will is eroding. They are a mob, and their morale is breaking against your unbreakable wall. The men in their front ranks are no longer eager warriors. They are terrified souls being pushed to their deaths by the ranks behind them. Finally, it happens. A ripple of panic starts at the front of the Persian line and spreads backward. They begin to turn. First a few, then a dozen, then 100. The retreat becomes a rout. The sea of men that threatened to drown you is now fleeing in a torrent of blind panic. A great, ragged cheer erupts from the Phalanx. It is not a sound of joy, but of exhausted, savage relief. You do not cheer. You simply stand there, leaning on your spear, your shield arm hanging limp and useless at your side. Your leg throbs with a fiery agony. You look across the plain. It is a charnel house. Thousands of bodies litter the ground. The great Persian army is a cloud of dust on the horizon. You have won. You have held the line, but as the adrenaline fades, a new sound reaches your ears, cutting through the cheers and the groans of the wounded. It's not a human sound. It is the rhythmic thunder of hooves, hundreds of them. From the flank, you turn your head, your helmet feeling like it weighs 1,000 pounds. On the low hills to your right, a new force has appeared. Ranks of horsemen, their armor gleaming, their lances held high. Persian cavalry. They were held in reserve. They let the infantry break against you. And now, when you are exhausted, wounded, and disordered, they have come to finish the job. The Phalanx is a weapon designed to face forward. It is vulnerable on its flanks. Your training, your entire existence, has been about holding a line against a frontal assault. This is something new, a new kind of terror, the ghost in your mind, the one that understands tactics, knows exactly what this means. You are caught, you are exposed, and the thunder is getting closer. You survived the cavalry. It was a chaotic, desperate scramble. Your officers, screaming commands, managed to pivot a section of the line, creating a hedgehog of spears that the horses would not charge. It was not a victory, but a bloody stalemate until night fell and the Persians withdrew. The price was high. Alcaeus was among the fallen, trampled by a panicked horse. Of the 3 boys who once stole cheese together, only you remain. The march home is a silent procession of ghosts. The rhythmic tramp of the survivors is ragged, uneven. The triumphant songs are absent. You limp, the wound in your thigh a constant, throbbing reminder of the battle. But it is not the deepest wound you carry. You walk through a land that seems alien. The green fields of Arcadia, the simple villages of Tegea, they seem like a dream. The world of normal men, who farm and trade and raise families without the constant shadow of the spear, is a world you can observe but no longer comprehend. Your modern mind, the ghost, feels a pang of longing for this simplicity. But the Spartan you have become sees only weakness, softness, a lack of discipline. The army does not celebrate its return. You enter Sparta not to a parade, but to a quiet, critical inspection. The ephors, the elder magistrates, watch you file past. They are not looking for heroes. They are counting the dead, assessing the strength of the wall, calculating the cost. Families line the road, but they do not rush to embrace their sons and husbands. They search the ranks, their faces impassive, a nod if their loved one is present, a stoic turn of the head if he is not. Public grief is an indulgence. You see Lycos's mother. She stands straight and proud. Another woman tries to offer her condolences. Lycos's mother cuts her off, her voice clear and hard. I bore him for Sparta. He died for Sparta. That is not a tragedy. That is his purpose fulfilled. The words send a chill through you that the mountain winds never could. The ghost in you is horrified by this casual dismissal of a life, a son. The Spartan in you understands it completely. This is the logic of the state. This is the foundation upon which your entire world is built. You are given a new plot of land, a larger share of the Helot-farmed territory, Lycos's and Alcaeus's portions, added to your own. It is your reward. Land and the Helots to work it. You are a landowner, a man of status, but the reward feels hollow. You stand on the rich soil and feel nothing. The nights are the worst. You lie on your hard pallet, and the battle replays itself in your mind. Not the heroic parts, but the ugly details. The sound of Alcaeus's bones breaking under the horse's hooves. The surprised look in Lycos's eyes as the spear took him. The face of the first man you killed. You see them when you close your eyes. The unseen scars you carry are far deeper than the puckered flesh on your thigh. You try to talk about it once. To another veteran, a man who also survived the cavalry charge. You start to describe the chaos, the fear. He cuts you off. "We held the line," he says, his eyes distant. "That is all that matters. There is no vocabulary for trauma here. There is only duty, and its binary outcome, success or failure. You succeeded. The discussion is over. Home is not a sanctuary. It is your barracks for one. Your wife. A woman chosen for you based on her strong childbearing hips and impeccable Spartan pedigree, greets you at the door. Her name is Gorgo. She does not embrace you. She does not ask if you are well. She walks around you, her eyes critically examining you from head to toe. She sees the limp. "The leg," she asks. Her tone is that of a master inspecting his prize horse. "An arrow," you say. "It will heal." "It had better," she says, her meaning clear. A lame warrior is of little use. She then inspects your armor, which is dented and stained. She notes the deep gouge in your aspis from the axeman. A close thing. It is not an expression of relief for your safety, but an assessment of the shields and, by extension, your performance. You have 2 children, a boy of 5, Leonidas, and a girl of 3, Sineska. They look at you with a mixture of awe and fear. You are not their father in the way your modern mind understands the word. You are a remote, powerful figure who appears for brief periods between campaigns and training. You are the state, made flesh, living in their home. You try to connect. You sit with your son, intending to. What play talk? You don't know how. The Agoge beat those instincts out of you. You look at his small hands, and you try to imagine them holding a spear. You see his open, curious face, and you try to imagine it behind the suffocating darkness of a helmet. He asks you about the battle. "Did you kill many Persians?" "Father," the ghost in you flinches. The Spartan in you answers, "As many as was necessary." "Were you afraid?" The question hangs in the air. Your wife looks up from her weaving, her gaze sharp. Fear is a poison. To admit it is to infect your own son. Spartans do not feel fear. You lie. The words taste like ash in your mouth. You are a stranger in this house. You share a bed with your wife, but it is a duty for procreation, not an act of intimacy. You eat with your family, but the meals are silent, functional. The easy laughter, the gentle touch, the shared vulnerabilities that make up a family in your other life are completely absent here. They are luxuries Sparta cannot afford. One evening, you awaken from a nightmare, a strangled cry on your lips. You are back in the crush of the Phalanx, the weight of the dead pressing down on you. Gorgo is awake, looking at you in the moonlight. There is no sympathy in her eyes. There is something closer to contempt. The war is in your head," she says, her voice cold. "Leave it there. Do not bring it into my house." You understand then. Your home is not a place to heal your unseen scars. It is just another battlefield, one where the enemy is your own weakness, your own lingering humanity, and you are losing. The seasons turn. Your leg heals, leaving you with a permanent, slight limp that you train relentlessly to overcome. You are a leader in your syssitia, your dining mess. You are respected. You are a veteran. You are the ideal, a pillar of the state. The ghost of your modern consciousness is now little more than a whisper, a faint echo of a life you can barely remember. It only speaks in the dead of night, in the faces of the dead that visit your dreams. One afternoon, you walk past the grounds of the Agoge. You hear the familiar sounds, the crack of the training whip, the thud of wooden swords, the shouted commands of the irons. A new generation is being forged. You stop and watch. A group of 7-year-old boys, naked and shivering, are being taught to stand unflinching as a trainer feints a spear thrust at their faces. You see them, their small jaws set, their eyes wide with a terror they are desperately trying to conceal. You see yourself. The memory is so vivid, it makes you physically recoil. The cold stone, the sting of the lash, the gnawing hunger, the terror of the wolf on the mountain. It all comes rushing back, not as a memory, but as a physical sensation. The unseen scars on your soul begin to burn. You see the path laid out before these children. You know the price they will pay. You know what will be scoured from their souls to make them strong. And for the first time in years, the ghost in you screams, "This is wrong. This is a crime against childhood, against humanity." But the Spartan you are watches with a critical eye. That one flinched. He is weak. He must be corrected. The two thoughts coexist in your mind. A dizzying, sickening paradox. You are both the victim and the perpetrator, the prisoner and the guard. The final act of your transformation comes a week later. It is your son's 7th birthday. It is his time. Leonidas stands before you, dressed in the simple red cloth he will wear into his new life. He is trying so hard to be brave, to emulate the father he sees as a bronze giant. But you can see it. In the slight tremor of his lip, in the way his eyes dart towards his mother. You see the terrified child within. It is the same terror you felt. The ghost in your head, your modern soul, is in agony. It wants to kneel down, to pull your son into an embrace, to tell him it's okay to be scared. It wants to tell him about a different world, a world where boys can play and laugh and be loved without condition. It wants to scream, "No, I won't let you take him." But you are not a man from that world. You are a Spartan hoplite. Your duty is to the state. Your purpose is to forge the next link in the chain. Your wife, Gorgo, places his first shield in your hands. It is small, wooden, but it feels as heavy as the world. You turn to your son. You kneel, not in tenderness, but to be at his eye level. You look into his wide, frightened eyes. This is the climax of your life, the final, terrible choice, to save your son's soul, or to save Sparta. And in this world, there is no choice. Your hand, the one with the scar from the wolf, rests on his small shoulder. The Spartan you are, the man who has bled and killed for this moment, speaks. The words are not yours, yet they come from your mouth. They are the words of generations. They are the echoes in bronze. Etan e epitas, either with this or on it. You say the words. You seal his fate. You place the shield in his hands. In that moment, the war inside you ends. The ghost of the modern man does not die with a scream, but with a final, silent sigh of surrender. It dissolves, merging fully with the Spartan warrior. The two have become one. You are no longer a visitor. You are no longer an observer. You look at your son, who is now looking at his shield, and you feel only a grim, terrible pride. The cycle is complete. The wall will stand.